Hey everyone, this is Phoenix Dawn Command on Saving Throw Show. I am your marshal / game master, Sax Carr, and I'm tired, as always.
I mean, it's just a thing.
No sleep and all work makes me continue doing more of it.
And you keep typing that over and over on a typewriter, and it's just super weird.
We are...
No, I'm used to it. I've seen it before.
We're playing Phoenix Dawn Command, which is a game that is based on cards, not dice, and which you level up by dying, and lots more. But first, let's talk about who is here in our very intimate edition of this game. 21 episodes, or 22, depending on whether we lost one or not.
I think we're at 22.
Okay.
It's definitely over drinking age.
Okay. Well, 21 is over drinking age. All right, so tell everyone who you are and more about you, and then we'll jump into today's episode.
I'm Robert Chan, and I've got Rhythm Nation running through my head. So there's that. I'm a podcaster and a writer, and yeah, are we talking about characters, or are we just introducing ourselves? Playing Eerie, who's a Forceful, which are very fast phoenixes. He looks like a little 9-year-old J-horror ghost boy, and this is going to be an interesting day because all of our smart people are gone.
Yeah.
just the punchy, kicky people left.
Right, well, it should definitely have its own little flavor.
Varya's a little less dumb now, but for story reasons.
All right, so tell us about Varya and yourself.
Hey, I'm Mac Beauvais, your friendly neighborhood werewolf. I'm an actor, cosplayer, writer, ne'er-do-well, all of those things. Yeah. I'm playing Varya, who's from the Bitter School, so they were characters that died in failure in their mortal life. And she's slowly been becoming a giant fucking werewolf monster. But during one of our previous games, things happen, words. Her and Ink ended up dying at the same time, and she's come back a little less rage monstery than she had been before.
So like the Fly.
Yeah, sure.
They both got into the transport pod, and so now you're half ninja librarian, half wolf.
Yeah, sure. Plus, I really like going around going, help me, help me.
Half ninja librarian, half wolf sounds like the worst anime that every 12-year-old
Or the
watches.
best.
What was there was that like it was like something 6, like it wasn't Secret 6, it was Electric 6. No, that's the band. There was an old, it was like one of those animes in that like French style, like Lupin the Third, where this girl it's basically a vampire created in a lab, and she has like a wolf friend, but during the day she pretends to be a guy who's a teacher, and then
You do.
Eve 6.
What's that?
Eve 6.
And not Eve 6,
That's
but it was supposed to be. It was basically like huge in Argentina. It was a weird. Anyway, if someone must know what I'm talking
You know where
about.
all the Nazis are?
Yeah, it was huge with Nazis. So we could be looking forward to a resurgence in the next few years.
Feeling it.
Oh.
Oh, we
make
laugh
us
to keep
sad.
them crying.
Yes.
You can't even watch Indiana Jones anymore without just getting sad.
Although, who would have thought that Shia LaBeouf would be the one out there? He is, as people have noted in memes, putting stuff in museums and punching Nazis.
Actual activist Shia LaBeouf.
Like, what is happening?
Yeah. Turns out a guy who has no personal rules is great at fighting injustice. All right, so I was hoping someone in chat would dive in and tell me what the hell that was, but I guess not. All right, so it is something 6, though, and it, damn it, brain. All right, so a little bit about Phoenix Dawn Command before we get into today's game. So as I said before, you level by dying, and why is that? Because all the characters started as mortals, and they died the first time, usually in some tragic way, and they were sort of rescued by this Phoenix energy, which brings them back as sort of superheroes, if you will, but in like a medieval context. And every time they die, they're brought back again, having gained more power. They sort of learn lessons based on how they die, and it changes what their abilities are. Now, to go one step deeper into that mechanics, there's sort of 2 worlds at play in Phoenix Dawn Command. There's what's called the Daylit world, which is... Oh.
Ooh, things are happening.
Yeah. Does that mean someone made a donation, or is that something weird happening on the...
I'm looking, it doesn't look like it.
Okay, weird.
That might have been a subscribe.
Oh. Congratulations, subscriber, if that's the case.
Did it just get a 1-up?
Maybe.
Well, that screen should be on it, because then it would tell
Yes.
us. But it's not.
I'm looking at chat on my phone. I'm not seeing it. I don't know what that was, but oh yeah, it was. It was someone. Someone did a thing. Thank you for doing the
Yeah,
thing.
my Pavlovian response is already working. Yay!
Alright, so,
Thanks for subscribing.
You did the thing.
Also, I can't stop drooling.
All right, so the so there's the Dalit world, which is the regular world, right? And that's where the Phoenixes are currently live, and that's where all the humans live. And the Dalit world is essentially like the sort of, if you will, is our world, our universe. Then there's the Dusk, which is sort of like a mirror universe, and you can treat that as sort of like being limbo, or like the negative world, or the Upside Down, or the Feywild, and that is basically sort of a skin on, like it's the same world, but all the rules are different, and it has a sort of a different, and all the magical creatures live there. But it's also where the crucibles are. So when Phoenixes die, they go into a crucible, which is sort of a personal test that can last for an hour or a year or a million years. And then when they finish their crucible, they come back more powerful. All those crucibles are in the Feywild, and they're all at different periods of time. Or they're in the Dusk, and they're all at different periods of time, and they're all like, some of them have non-Euclidean dimensions, and they're all very strange, but they're all contained there on top of this sort of mirror image, like sort of cloudy mirror of our regular world. Then there's like the other parts. There's like death and like the sort of raw magical energy worlds, but basically that's the sort of like world sandwich that you have. So if you're just tuning in now, you're going to get a little confused because we're currently in the Dusk. So a lot of the regular physics of this game don't apply here. You guys enter the Dusk physically by traveling through like a portal at Halfsbridge. And once you're in the Dusk, you find a way to break into the Crucible system, where all the Phoenixes are essentially being trained. There's about 100 Phoenixes at any given time, but several occurrences of them could be being crucibled here at the same time. So these crucibles are theoretically infinite, and you've been sort of traveling from crucible to try and recruit Phoenixes, and in doing so, hopefully, gain some allies against the Hectarch, which is the big evil. It's a terrible way to catch people up, but it is actually what has happened.
Let me help you out with
Previously
this.
on Buffy
In the world sandwich, the Dusk is the mayonnaise. We have learned to travel through to the lettuce and the tomato and the pickles, which are individual crucibles, to gather allies, which we will then return to the main patty of the sandwich, if you will. And then we'll take on the Hectarch, which is the cheese? Let's call it the cheese of the burger. And so it's going to be a big
because we ordered it our way, and we didn't want cheese, and they put cheese on it, and it's not okay.
Are there sesame seeds on the bun?
Yes.
Obviously.
And those sesame seeds are the fated, which are I can't make this analogy work. There is no Phoenix. There is no Phoenix Dawn Command sandwich. You cannot. It's not a hamburger. It is a world. All right, so on top of all this, the additional layer on this sandwich, what could it be? The
box,
special
the
sauce
wrap.
that you can add. The unique flavorful chipotle ketchup of this world is your donations, because we're a donation sort of driven show. So if you want, you can donate your XP, which you get from watching this show, to give them additional redraws or to create environmental objects, both of which help them in combat. Or you can make cash donations to activate their flares. And there are positive flares, which are usually combat-based, and there are negative flares, which are usually role-play-based. And all of that is being linked to you by our able mods right now, I'm sure. And if those donations come in, then we will react to them. I believe you can make Mac into a puppy. So
that's ordering it animal style.
Yes.
Ooh, nailed it.
All right.
The donations are the fries.
That's true. Yes, donations are the fries. Yes.
Well, you can get fries animal style too,
That's
and it's
true.
awesome.
Yeah.
Yep.
In fact, now the noises happen. I'm drooling. I'm going in and out. I'm out.
And you can have as many fountain drinks as you want, because those cost us nothing. Really inexpensive, and yet we charge $1 for them. We're wacky. No, the fountain drinks are on the Patreon, which you can also I should point out, you can subscribe to this channel if you have not already done so. If you do, you can give a free redraw draw to one of these characters, or you can get a reroll on another show if that so intrigues you. You can also subscribe to us on Patreon at various levels, and the Patreon levels also give you benefits, both of which increase the XP that you make when you're in the chat room. And if you are a Patreon subscriber, between now and Season 2, which is coming up in, well, it's coming up after this ends in about a month, and then after a short break, we're going to do a whole session where we build a Wing of Phoenixes with you that are going to be Phoenixes that we use sort of as NPCs in that season. Along with Keith Baker, the creator of the game. So be a Patreon subscriber in a month, or now. So
Forever.
Yeah, or forever.
And if you did subscribe and you want to give rerolls, the Misadventures team on every other Wednesday could definitely use them, because we burn through those like crazy. Look it up. It's amazing.
Okay, I think we've done enough housekeeping. We can probably get into this. We've cleaned enough tables. I'm going to keep the analogy going. Here we go. Here, going through the drive-through of this game. All right, so. All right. Well, that's so. You've been traveling from Crucible to Crucible, trying to recruit Phoenixes, and the basic things that you encounter are this: like first rank Phoenixes are essentially not equipped. Like Phoenixes who have not yet become first rank, like mortals who have come into their Crucible, just don't have the internal mechanics to understand what's going on or be helpful, and possibly can't even transcend the bounds of their Crucibles even if you break them for them, so they're no help. Phoenixes that aren't 6th or 7th rank, which are the last two ranks, can't actually perceive what's happening in terms of Crucible to Crucible, so they can't traverse them on their own, so you basically have to drag them along with you. So you're often sort of taking them back out into the Dusk world, because you can only really sort of prod so many at a time. The 6th or 7th rank Phoenixes, though, once you've sort of got them on the ticket and teach them how to travel through their Crucible, can travel out on their own. So you can basically send them out as well. And it just so happens that you are both sort of in the same general area of this weird non-Euclidean space at the same time, when your ability to transit from Crucible to Crucible suddenly and mysteriously stops working. And essentially you both find yourself in a sort of strange, barren wasteland that seems to go off infinitely in every direction. Like you essentially broke it. Like the mechanisms that operate the Crucibles have failed. Virus, very yes. So
My sandwich melted.
There's our.
And the sounds happened.
Our
Well, this is another fine mess you've got us into, Varya.
hold on. Let me unclip the Icy Wastelands. Now games, now remixed by the slowness of our computer. There we go. Nope.
Went to
my.
Mike Doty show on Thursday.
Yeah.
And what he's doing now is he's doing live remixing. He got Wheatus to be his opening band.
Okay.
And then he uses them as his backing band. What he does is, they're playing and whatnot, and then he'll be like, and then the cello player will stop playing, and like, the drummer will stop playing, the drummer turn back on, and basically doing this, like a different way every show, and it's fucking amazing. It's amazing. He's also doing stuff with analog synthesizers, just fantastic.
Wow. Very cool.
Is the sound here skipping?
Yeah, that's how much you broke reality. Not even sound works here right now. So you're in this strange barren wasteland, and and basically it's just emptiness in all directions as far as you can tell. And it's just the two of you, and the sort of trick for like traveling at odd angles through the Crucibles doesn't seem to be working. What do you want to do?
This isn't your Crucible, right? Because it's not mine. Is there a reason? What's happening?
If it is, we'll be here for a while.
I mean, we haven't found anyone in here yet, but I'm assuming there's a Phoenix in here somewhere.
Well,
I mean, you're faster than I am. Maybe you want to go look?
through this vast wasteland? Sure. I'll be back in about 400 years.
Really?
Is this just a wide, blank expanse from all over?
It's essentially like think of it like a video game when you're like, because you know it has like stage darkness. Like, so you're in an area where you can kind of see, but anything past like 10 feet of you is just black. And then if you travel in that direction, you can kind of see more. Like there's sort of an aura around you where like it's lit, but then everywhere else, it's just impossible to see what's going on.
Does it smell like there's anyone else in there with us? Is there any It's because the other phoenixes obviously had something.
Well, most of them still have some sort of mortal form, so you can smell them. But you can smell each other a little bit, but like there's so much space here, and the winds pick up through all this area. Like you basically can't smell anything in here. It's like a
great, and yeah, this is not my forte.
Well, if there's one thing that my crucibles taught me is that time is on our side.
I think maybe now isn't the case.
Do you have a better plan than walking?
Well, absolutely not, but...
Then...
Alright. I guess I'll try and keep up with him as much as I can. He moves really fast. I move pretty quick, so
But
definitely
also,
running on all fours at this point.
yeah, but I don't want us to get separated or anything.
okay.
Lord knows what could happen then.
Well, your top speed is quite fast, both because I mean you're superhuman, and also on 4 legs you can go pretty fast. So you still have to slow down dramatically to stay at pace with her, but you're not exactly going slow. So you travel for some distance, and it's all sort of, you know, like it's just more of this empty wasteland in all directions, and it doesn't necessarily seem to be stopping. And then very, very far from you, you can see what appears to be sort of like a lit area. You know, there's just like as if like there's a giant spotlight coming down on an area, and you can see a single object in that area. And by the way, the floor to some extent has been like random textures, like, you know, it's stone for a while, then it's dirt, then it's, you know, then there's snow for a bit, which like picks up in the wind and blows around. It's just, it seems like this is sort of a patchwork of all these different sort of spaces.
If this is someone's crucible, I hate them.
You could take it up with them when we find them.
If we find them.
Why so glum? There's got to be someone here.
I'm sorry, are you asking me to be cheery?
Somebody's got to be.
I don't think either of us are qualified for that. Let's just, whatever it is, onward.
All right. Do you head over towards this? All right. As you get closer and closer, it becomes apparent what it is. It's a standing mirror. It is a mirror standing in an empty space, like a dressing mirror.
I have one of these in my crucible, but there's a lot more not light. So I have no idea what's going on here.
It is definitely the same like make and model of the one in your crucible. So either there's
good, a horrifying obelisk that reflects everything she's become. Yay!
So obviously, you know, unless there's Crucible IKEA, where they're buying all the products from.
They call it Ted? Well, I guess we'll go and have a look in the mirror, which is always a bad idea.
Is this a bitter thing? Is this a you thing?
I wish I could tell you.
So, from being next to the mirror, the space around this does bear a striking resemblance to your crucible. But mostly, like, when you're in the light looking back, it, like, all the trappings of your crucible are there. So how does that sort of, like, and again, if you run away from this and look back, it's definitely like an island unto itself in inky blackness that goes on forever. But if you're from looking at it out, what is it that you see? And you see this too, but it doesn't mean as much to you because it's not the same.
So, looking into what my crucible looks like?
Yeah, like how does this? How does it look different?
Well, there's actual textures, whereas mine is just infinite blackness without any textures, any light, and usually the echoing reminders of all of the horrible failures that Varya has had for forever.
I'll pull it up. I'm sure Playmill Games has echoing failures somewhere.
Yeah, her crucible is basically one giant reminder of what a fucking monster she is.
So that, like, basically that lack of texture is very apparent from when you're in the, like, circle of light, even though that, I know that's counterintuitive. And the mirror is definitely, or the reflective surface is definitely the one that you're used to seeing. Do you want to, like, gaze into it? What do you, like, how do you often encounter this when you're in a crucible? Do you spend time looking at it, or do you, like, try to avoid looking at it?
It wasn't there for the first couple of crucibles.
Okay.
And then it showed up about maybe her third death. And it was sort of almost like the way a carnival mirror is, except she was actually physically warping. So every time she looked in the mirror, she'd actually watch herself changing more into something that's further from her mortal existence. It was basically, here, look at what a terrible, horrible monster you're becoming. Enjoy.
Do you want to look into it or not?
Sure, why not? This seems really like a good idea.
Well, you're perhaps happy to note that you don't warp or change whilst looking into it. And you can also see his reflection in it, and the two of you can see, like, the sort of, you know, where the light pool ends. Like, you can sort of see behind you in it. But there is no sort of, it doesn't have that effect. But you should both make some sort of perceptive check, a spread of perception.
No, normally my crucible is based off of, like, personal fear and failure, and I do have the fear specialty. Does that work?
Yeah, you can go ahead with that.
Okay. So I get a +5.
Yeah, let's see if we can get the dice cam up and running. Just try pressing on again. It's being temperamental today.
I don't like people at this table.
I don't like people at this table.
Thank you, Wolfman, on the 1s and 2s today.
I've got nothing.
The
Yeah.
horchata ones. I think it's
Yeah,
right
I got
there. Yeah, the blue. Merci.
I feel like it.
It was totally working.
But I mean, when I came in today, I got it working, and then it turned off again as well.
Okay.
Try
Shall I just
holding it down. I mean, you can basically sort of show your close camera there.
You should have the resolution if you. Yeah.
All right,
what's your
so I
total?
have 16 in total.
Okay. What about you?
Should I try harder?
It's up to you.
Try not
Basically,
to suck.
like, it's good to get a litmus test as to, like, you know, if you also have a 16 but you have different perceptions, then maybe things are different. You know what I mean?
Will scouting or resolve or travel or
Scouting would work.
scouting? All right, let's do this.
We were not built for this challenge.
I've got the absolute precision, so I'm gonna burn 2 to extend my draw. That did not help me. That did not help me. Crapsaurus. Did I really blow all that for fucking 16?
Wait, how do you not have more than 16? Because you get a plus from your.
Oh, sorry. No, right. 21.
What to say?
All right, fine.
I'm like, wait, I'm not good at math, but
And I'm even less good.
but I'm not that bad.
So what did you get?
21.
21. Okay, so you feel quite strongly that you are, like, you know, that you have a good grasp of what it is you're looking at, and so do you to an extent. But you see, Mac, as Varya is looking into the mirror, you know, you're caught up in yourself, just making sure. You know, every time you shift and your fur catches the light differently, you're like, "Am I changing? No, I'm fine." You're like, "Am I warping? No, I'm good." Meanwhile,
I don't know how it could get worse,
Yeah.
but I'm sure it could.
Meanwhile, you're near Eerie, who is also, like, warping all reality around him, which isn't making it any easier. But then at some point, you notice in the, like, very far distance behind you, like the quick like flash of eye glare, and then you sort of it catches your attention. You don't see this though. You know that you're laser focused, but somehow it's not coming into you. And basically, it becomes very clear that there's another Varya out there, like at the edge of the light line, and sort of rapidly approaching the lit area.
All right. Well, I'm definitely going to turn around
Okay.
and just start growling at it.
All right. When you turn around, do you turn around to face it as well?
Sure.
All right. You can actually see it when it's not reflected in the mirror, and it is Varya. It's like rank 5 Varya, like full on extra beastie mode Varya or 6 Varya. And you don't know if this is you from your Crucible, like you've entered into a version of your Crucible or something else, but it's definitely you, and it's definitely angry.
I'm at a loss. I have no idea.
You've made a tiny you.
Usually to do that, you have to do another thing with the... I'm going to turn towards it, and I'm going to growl and take up like the most dominant stance that I can.
Okay.
Like when I was trying to kind of cow them on Moon's Bow.
All right. Go ahead and make an intimidation or some sort of... I guess that could also be a fear check if you're trying to sort of put the fear into them.
Yeah, that works. Would crude but effective help me at all here? Because I am basically as growly, nasty
Is
animals
that like
I
the
can be.
equivalent, like, it's crude but effective? Like, I'm just doing the best with what I got.
Well, no, it's crude but effective if you're turning around and instead of actually trying to engage or talk to something, you're just snarling at
Yeah.
it. So, I don't know how much you want to give for that. I'm going to go with fear spread, though, for sure. So
Okay.
that gives me 10, 13, how much?
I'll give you 5 for that.
So that would be 18 in total.
Okay. You make a menacing sort of gesture at it, but it doesn't see the other Varya doesn't seem to be slowing down. She's probably going to pounce on you. You have time to do some sort of action before, as quick as you move. I mean, you fought Varya before. You know exactly how this goes.
I'm going to flank and wrap my chain around her back legs.
Okay. Try and trip her up.
Yeah, just to slow her down some.
Okay.
What am I gonna do? Just 10? Just 10? We'll swap it out. Yeah, I'm gonna do a 10 to disable, not to hurt though, just to.
Okay. It tangles into her back legs and sort of like basically she's stops running intentionally and starts sort of tumbling forward, but she's going to collide into both of you, into you. She's still gonna have momentum going on. That unless you're willing to sort of pull back, which would probably make it a much more aggressive move, she's gonna collide with you. So make a rank 6 defense.
Don't hurt her.
Yeah, well. I can't do 6. Should I do what I can?
Yeah. Which is what?
Horrific vision.
Okay.
So I guess I'll just extra horrifying, and we're both exposed now.
Sounds good.
So it's
it's 3
3.
though. All right, so let's see. I would say you can go ahead and take 1 wound as the tumbling mass of fur gets bigger as she tumbles into you, and you both tumble into the obelisk mirror thing and shatter it.
No.
And sort of stumble out on the floor.
That seems ill-advised.
And it sort of Dark Varya sort of pulls back up to a half stance. It's clear that she has aggressive intent. What do you want to do?
I guess I'll try talking first because I know how awful I am.
Okay. What are you gonna say?
Who are you?
You get like you say words, and the Varya that you're looking at sort of looks at you, but you sort of realize this isn't. There's no driver in this mechanism. Like this is basically your animal side with none of the you left.
Oh, good. I guess I'm going to make an attack.
She's gonna go after you at the same time, so you can either make an opposed attack or like try and defend her or push her off, because she's basically pouncing now, and you can do something too.
Damn. I can't really defend right now.
But neither can she. So if you want, you can just sort of trade blows with her and like.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best I'm going to be able to do. So right now I can do an attack of, let's see, that's 8, 11. I can do an attack of 16. Hold on.
Don't hurt her.
What do you want me to do?
Subdue her. Ugh.
All right, I can do an attack of 16, or 17, sorry.
Okay, 17.
Numbers.
We'll say that you significantly like wound her, but she also wounds you. So take 2 wounds as you sort of collide, and your Pyrean steel claws like gore at each other, and they're clearly fighting. What do you want to do?
I'm gonna go my Steiner route and hop on her back and wrap the chain around her neck and try and just
Oh, this looks familiar.
Mhm. Well, I mean, it'll feel familiar because you don't actually get to see that part.
This is like Cinnamon Toast Crunch the beer.
Ugh. Sounds. I'm drinking it, and that even.
No,
sounds
you
terrible.
already had one.
Yeah, the cocoa brown ale.
That's
is
a
not
different
bad.
one. No, the one you already had.
14.
Yeah.
Sorry.
It was just right here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
14.
Yeah.
Okay. You get in there and you sort of have the chain around the neck, and again, this thing doesn't seem like it's howling and growling and like sort of reaching up at you. There still doesn't seem to be anything sort of in control of this. It's just sort of like an animal.
Also, I
force and shape.
disappeared, by the way.
Oh yes. Did you bamfed out?
Yep.
Okay. Great. Sounds good. So then I guess the evil Varya has no choice but to try and like get her hands up behind and try and pull you over. So make a defense 10.
Oh, my earlier skill check was way higher. Oops. I forgot I had another card.
I got a small one quick for 10.
10? All right, so she's trying to reach back, because she's sort of, it's the hybrid wolf shape, like she has much longer arms than a person would, but even that, you're like leaning back.
I've been here. This is literally not my first rodeo.
Okay. I'll give you +5 to subsequent attacks as long as she can't get you off her back, because you basically have the chain around her already.
Do you have the seen this before card? Or whatever it is you have.
So what do you want to do?
Let's see. What don't I want to do? I guess I'm going to go ahead and attack
Okay.
with like a bajillion cards. Okay, hold on a second. So I'm going to go ahead and use Ruthless, which is going to give me 5. Let's just draw another card.
Yeah, she'll show in a
I'll pull
sec.
it in a second. There's math. Yes.
Where's the
I'm
math
gonna
cam?
do Power from Pain. Just gonna let me draw another card, and then I'm gonna lay down.
Good God.
What?
So I noticed the cocoa brown ale, and then I noticed the horchata. Like, are they all just garbage flavored? Juice? And then
I'm really glad I went to the store before this game. Thank you. Dick.
There was that Blue Moon sponsorship we were all
You want
hoping
to pass
for.
me some garbage, please?
It's delicious garbage, so
Wait,
you can
wait.
just
I'm
deal.
curious, what was the cinnamon toast crunch one you said? Or
Oh, the cinnamon horchata. It's not unpleasant, but it's like cinnamon toast crunch in beer form. Okay. Here, I'll show the cards and then I'll math. How's that? Because there's math. Because hitting things a lot.
Okay.
Okay. So Ruthless is going to give me 5. Power from Pain is going to give me 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's going to be 9. And then that's 13, 14, 15, 16, 20, 25.
All right. What do you do? How do you want to do
Well,
this?
I
It's like
had been disappeared.
She's distracted, so she's not defending at all really. As she's also still exposed. Oh no, she's actually that's the same action. Yeah, she's still exposed, so she really can't defend this. But on top of that, she's busy trying to pull Chan.
Yeah,
over
I've
back.
also disappeared, so I'm going to swoop in, and I'm going to get her right in the throat with my claws digging in. So if she actually tries to move out of my grip, it's going to pull right at her jugular.
Okay. Well, you dig your claws in and you do a significant amount of damage, but you can see that just like you, like the more damage you take, the stronger she gets, and you feel like she's significantly wounded.
Eerie, you have to stop laughing at this.
And then there's like a sort of rumble goes through the whole like world that you're in, and like it feels like there's like it feels like plates shifting against each other as the sort of strange mechanics of this weird space you're in are like fracturing. You still have more time though. What do you want to do?
It's your turn. Don't hurt her.
Doesn't seem like a good idea, is all I'm saying.
I don't have a better plan unless you do.
I'm still just trying to basically just kind of knock her out without killing her dead.
Okay.
So I'm just going to keep yanking on that thing till she goes down.
All right.
It's worked before.
I mean, I've been wrestling with myself. I wasn't expecting to be wrestling with myself.
All I've got is 11 on this one.
All right. She's still not really defending, and you sort of feel like she's running out of steam, and she sort of falls forward, and you ride her down. And as she hits the ground, like either unconscious or dead, it's not really clear. Like you can feel the mechanics of the whole world sort of spill out from underneath you.
Was that intentional?
Wow.
Okay.
That was good. Like,
And basically the whole world like sort of shatters out from under you, and you find yourselves falling, and you fall like through like a forest of chains. They're all your chains.
Sure.
Complete with hooks. So make a defense 5. Oh wow, this is gonna keep going through explosions though if I don't stop
can
it.
I use athletics?
Yes, you might.
And I have superhuman reflexes in my hand.
Okay. I'll say you're fine.
5.
Okay. You both managed to not get hooked on anything on the way down, but you land in a sort of strange, like, it's basically a perversion of the town you grew up in, like the ghetto streets or whatever, and like the alleyways and like the sewers, and it sort of goes on again in all directions, but hanging from nowhere in the sky are like infinitely long versions of your chain, like every 5 or 10 feet, and as you move around, if you knock into them, they like hit each other and like sort of shake around.
I'm guessing this one is yours.
I'm going to hop up into one of the hooks and just swing a little bit. You know, like you do. Just put your foot in there.
Are you having another one of your weird kid moments?
This is fun. I imagine we'll get to see me soon. The question
Great.
is, how do we avoid continually falling through these crucible variants of ours.
I don't have any answers aside from trying to look for another way out, like where we came in. But obviously something has gone wrong.
You hear laughter behind you, and you see like floating in the chains the twisted mask of the puppeteer, like sort of come into existence, and then a body forms around it. Oh no! You broke the world! Hi again, by the way. Don't worry, I'm not whichever one of me you most recently dealt with. I'm just an echo. Left here.
Oh, that makes it better.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, I can't leave whatever the hell you've done to the world, even once you fix it. But thanks to our incredible connection, I'm here now. Perhaps I can be some help.
Yeah, you can go away.
Always so mean. I hope we resolve this after this happened. There has to have been at least one of you who I could convince.
Good luck.
Not happening.
Well, fine. I'll be here if you need anything, because I literally can't leave. Not because I want to wait around for any of your garbage. There we go. Oh.
How bad is it going to be now that we're in your mirror awful crucible, whatever this is?
Who's to say? They used to take 1,000 years before that one came along.
Maybe I should just rank out. Maybe I should just none of this anymore.
Let's head this way. Let's see what we can find. I'm gonna head towards the sort of final encounter with the puppeteer where we ended up in the crucibles before.
Oh, good, the boss fight.
I'll play these dumb mini bosses.
You have some time to travel and talk, as the landscape is more of a perversion of your crucible than ever before, so some distances don't make any sense. And it's it's odd, and again, like the forest of chains never really abates. Like even as you pass it in around buildings, they just sort of like fill in whatever available space they can.
This is awful. I mean, mine's terrible. But really?
It's no worse than Ink's wind chimes.
Those are pretty bad. They're really bad. Like, the winds we get on Pyre, it's not okay. I can hear all of that all night. Not okay.
Are you sending me something, Wolfman? I feel like my stream communication is not working.
Oh. Night Steeds, redraw for table, and check.
Ah, okay, good.
Thank you.
Well, here's a redraw, and you can hold that Shadow Wolf until you need it. Yeah, I'm on it, but I'm not seeing anything. It feels like the fire is just mad all day. There we go.
Oh, okay.
I like the sound effects.
Did you just write kaboosh?
Yes.
Okay, that I got.
Eerie, stop making those sounds.
Sorry.
You got that?
Yeah, I got it now.
Okay. It's Night Steeds, so.
Okay, yes, thank you, Night Steeds, for those donations. It redraws, you say, so I'll give you 2 more.
I wonder if we brought our own crucibles into existence by bending the rules of others.
I mean, anything is possible, but I mean, I'm at a loss to understand it. I had the idea of going and recruiting other Phoenixes, but not the means, and then Ink pushed me into a door that wasn't there, which was super fun.
I wonder if we could recruit ourselves.
Did you see her?
Yes, I did.
I remember how I was. There's no way.
But you became you eventually.
Yeah, it took a while, and a lot of really weird things.
Well, we're in a crucible. We've got all the time in the world.
I do not want to be in your crucible for another 1,000 years, no matter how much time you think we have. That's not okay with me.
Eventually, you come upon the space where your crucible traditionally ends. And does it normally end with you killing the puppet master, essentially, at this point?
Yeah.
So that's done. Like, the puppet master is there dead, and you're not here. But the crucible, oh, wait, this is not your crucible as it traditionally starts, but there's no end to it here. The puppet master that was trailing you before sort of comes back into existence and goes, oh, well, now I got no ideas, sorry. Apparently I'm already dead here. You guys really broke a lot. To be fair, I don't really understand how this stuff works either. This is sort of just the material by which people like me are created. At the end of the day, it's all rules and codes built by someone else. So, I can't really speak to that.
I break his face again.
If you want to make an attack, you can.
Well, unfortunately, we only have one data
Save it.
point. We still need to find me here.
Do we really need to find you here?
Well,
Is that really what you want?
this is where we should be able to get out, since we can't.
I'm open to ideas, Eerie.
There's still no sideways hopping from here.
Yeah, you can't find the odd angles.
I mean, they were in every other crucible we've cut through so far. But this, I don't know what this is.
I guess we could always try my mother's house.
You start hearing sounds and like rattling of the chains as like some shapes or forms are heading towards you.
What else is in your crucible? Is this normal or is this something else?
None of this is normal.
See, this is why we don't spend any time together.
And I thought it was your naturally sunny demeanor.
Let's see, you could die one more time and come back, right?
Very quickly, the scene starts filling. These are basically like you recognize some of them as people who were the victims of the crime syndicate. Who this is way more intense than I intended it to be.
Yeah, this is not. No.
Yeah, hold on. I mean, I really enjoy all like the cool stuff here. I just never come in here early enough to like.
Make a playlist.
Yeah. Seriously, go to Play Now Games. Literally anything you could want is there, and apparently way more than you need.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
All right, well,
Your faces are priceless, by the way.
We work with what we have, okay?
all right. So you that was called Goblins at the Door. I can't wait to listen to it all at home, but it's not right for now. All right, so these
The home version of the game.
Yeah, play the Phoenix Dawn Command home version. It's like a big Varya thing, and like all the other characters. So these are like victims of the crime syndicate that had died before your mother. But there's hundreds of them, and they're moving in almost like the Chant, like big just piles of undead, and they're sort of like pushing through the chains and heading towards your position.
Apparently, they killed a lot of dogs.
They're pretty mean.
Going back to Hell's Crypt.
Well, trying to subdue our enemies last time didn't help. Running from them.
I was thinking the same thing. I think leaving is good. Plus, we have much bigger things to deal with than this. And honestly, this is not the way I would choose to go out.
All right. Well, the like shambling undead townsfolk sort of move at you with some speed, but if you choose to run away, you'll definitely outrun them. Where do you want to go?
let's head back to home.
Okay. So you head deeper into the city, but as you start turning like down more and more alleys, there are more of these undead there than you thought. So you're starting to get cut off.
Are there still chains?
Oh yeah,
Can we go over them?
you can climb the chains,
Oh,
but
shit, this is Donkey Kong Jr. all over again.
Eerie, your crucible is balls.
do you want to climb up the chains?
Sure, let's see if we can get away from him.
Okay. Go ahead and make some. I would just say these are either grace or strength checks. Make 2 checks of at least 10, grace or strength, and you'll
Can
climb
I
the
add
chains.
athletics?
Yeah, you can add athletics, sure.
You said of 10?
Acrobatics?
Yes, and acrobatics, yeah. So you
Okay.
basically just have to get 5s.
Okay, so.
There's 1. Yeah.
And.
Redraw. Redraw.
Here.
Oh,
Have that.
okay.
I need another card.
You don't have 5 strength in there?
No, because I've got all my fun flavor text cards now.
Fair enough.
So I'm going to use those to give me another
Okay.
5.
You climb the chains. The undead don't seem to be able to follow you up these chains, so you're able to sort of climb up. How far up do you want to go?
Not far. I want to go like hook to hook
Okay.
above them. I don't want to be. They're not attached to anything.
Yeah.
Okay. Eventually, you can get to what is your mother's house, but opening it up, the door leads to like an even larger space inside that is another sort of strange void land that goes on in different directions.
I'm guessing this is not your childhood home.
Not so much, no.
The puppeteer like stays at the door. Oop, I can't follow you any further than this.
Dang.
Jeez, you really screwed reality up. I hope wherever I really am, I'm doing something to thwart you. But I'm probably not.
I have sour news for you.
Oh, I think I want to hear this. Do you want to say anything more or just leave him there?
Oh, I'm leaving him hanging.
All right. Bye! Everyone has a prize! I don't really exist!
That guy is an asshole.
About it.
So, at this point, you're starting to feel like maybe you're like. You can almost feel like you're pulling back to a place. Like maybe you're not even in your physical bodies or something anymore because you feel very distant from reality and you feel like you're sort of held at a distance from it.
Does everything taste purple to you? Sorry, Futurama.
Are we getting farther away from the goal?
No. I have no idea what's going on. Maybe we did break reality. I mean, if anyone was going to do it, it was going to be us. Especially you.
Put my money on the time traveler, but sure.
I don't know what his deal is lately either. He's not doing well.
Why don't you stay here by the last vestiges of reality, and I'll see what happens if I head out further in this direction.
Really? You want to split up now?
I've got a life to give.
I better not end up stranded here, because I will find you in that other life, and I will make it go away.
How long do you want to travel away from Varya before you turn back?
Long enough for a break.
Go. Have I told you your pin is awesome? Can everyone see your little Cthulhu pin?
Oh, here.
So
Well,
cute.
here, I'm
Nice.
going by the camera.
Would Would you stop?
I'm short.
Would you stop knocking on my camera, please?
No. Can you see it over
Yes,
there?
yes.
There? Cool. Okay, bye.
Alright, well, that's happening.
All right, so you head a distance away. How far do you want to go? Like how long do you want to go?
At least until I feel like something's different.
Okay.
Or if things are getting worse, if I'm feeling farther away or closer, or...
Well, you go for at least an hour before like anything seems much different. You're sort of still in this like bare. This one doesn't have like the multiple changing sort of environmental things. You're just sort of in like, it's almost like you don't know where your feet are landing. You're just sort of running through darkness until at some distance you see like what looks like a strange version of Pyre far from you. Do you want to head towards it or like try and circle back for Varya?
I feel like, yeah, we should pick up Varya.
Okay. I'll just go ahead and Jaeger her that she goes with you. So you basically are in like, this is Pyre, there's an Imperial Flame here. This is different again from like the you know, dusk version of the flame that you encountered when you were like searching for different Ares. There's like candles here going like on and off, but there's no flame keeper or anything. But this is basically Pyre as you know it. And now we might as well do a plug before she gets back. What do you want to plug? What's going on with you? What have you been watching or seeing?
What's it been this past week? Legion.
Is it good?
That's some good stuff, yeah.
Really?
I just watched the first episode. Not really sure where they're going with it because it feels light enough on the X-Men stuff that it might not even be the same world. They might be doing, you know, like a just tangentially X-Men, but on its own, it's a pretty great show. Yeah, Noah Hawley, the guy who did the TV version of Fargo, is doing it, and some dude from Downton Abbey is Legion, and Aubrey Plaza is in it. It's fantastic, and it's
I love her.
Yeah, it's a good show. It's a good show.
Awesome. All right, so you've been after like traveling for an hour or two away from you. He found what looked like a sort of twisted version of Pyre, and so he came back and got you. And I said you went with him, and he brought you back to Pyre.
But I didn't. I was just
I figured you would go. So you're at basically the Imperial Flame, and this is like different than the Imperial Flame, and also different than the like negative version of the Imperial Flame that you knew before. This is a stranger version of it. But you're at all of Pyre is here. So where do you want to go from here?
Well, the room that has all the weapon racks, obviously.
You're there. There are weapon racks all around.
Do we want to go and have a look at the flame on this side? If maybe that's something?
But I might as well.
I have no idea what else to do.
When you reach the Imperial Flame, there's someone there. It's another Phoenix. You don't recognize them. You can tell if like a Phoenix, it's by sight, but it's definitely different. And they're wearing like the Imperial regalia, but it's older somehow. It's like a different. It feels like it's an older version thereof.
Great. Neither of us are really good at talking to people.
Yeah, seems like Ink's territory.
But Ink isn't here, so... let's see, what would he say? Hail, Phoenix! He always says something douchey like that. Eerie gets it.
I haven't had anyone to talk to for some time. I see you're...
No promises here.
I see you're both fellow Phoenixes.
Who are you?
My name is Ether. I am the last of the first Phoenixes.
Where are we?
Right now, you're in the... How to put it in a way that makes sense.
In sandwich terms, please.
Your 10.
I mean, is it like a Subway? Are we at a Togo's? Is it burgers? Like, what's happening?
You're a good 4 feet from where the sandwich making goes on, at like near the register, but not.
And Chan wins for the night.
Yeah. You're at the source of all the crucibles. When the Phoenixes were created, in my time, which I'm assuming is far before either of you, we created this engine, this mirror of Pyre, to create them. And in many ways, the dawn force that animates Phoenixes lives here. And this is where Phoenixes are chosen, and this is where crucibles are created, and this is where the power that flows through you is essentially generated from the raw energy of the world beyond the dusk. And not trying to place blame, but you're not supposed to be here.
Trust me, this is not our first choice of places to be either. Are you familiar at all with the concept of the Hectarch?
Well, I know that it was something we were going to have to deal with when this was all created, but back when we started, there were 6 schools. There were the Devoted, there were the Shrouded, there were the Durance, there were the Forcefuls, there was the Elementals, and then there was what I do. There were essentially the first Flame Keepers. They were it was essentially it was like the Meta Phoenix school, and we existed for a short time, and then we eventually had to step away and allow the Phoenixes to continue on as they were created. And myself, as the last member of that school, of the pure school of Phoenixes, stayed here to essentially create the system that you have been part of for some time. I'm not expressly sure that I'm actually still here. I think I might just be sort of the mechanisms that make this work as in the form of me.
That's upsetting.
Yeah,
Also,
seems unrealistic.
There's one more school since your time, so I'm sure that's fun to find out.
Ooh, it's interesting. Took a long time to build the system we have now. It's interesting that it might be growing on its own.
It's really not, trust me. I mean, how connected is this? Can you communicate with the other Phoenixes on the side, or?
I mean, I know the crucibles are happening. I can see them up here above us, and I know that the other world exists, the Dalit world. I just haven't been there for thousands of years. There was a long time when there was no crucibles. I think the Phoenixes weren't happening then, but they are now.
How do we get out of here?
We never built any way to make that happen. What? Oh, I have an idea. How do you feel about mentoring a Phoenix?
Sorry, we just met, so you won't understand why that is absolutely out of the question.
I'm gonna do this so that chat can fucking. All right,
I
so
hope you know how much money is going into this.
eat it.
It's not really here.
I swear you wear a hat every day for your whole life, and people somehow think you don't have hair. I don't know why.
No, just you.
Yeah, just me. It's only me. I'm the only theoretical bald guy wearing that hat. Oh, does Chan have hair?
Now we have
knows.
to swap. We really are in the inverse world.
I should say that when I first met you, nice. Okay, now no one has hair.
It's a happy hat
Flatters
day.
you. But I should say that.
Can I
that
wear
when-
it jaunty? Is
Yeah,
that
I think you
something?
did. Probably. I think when I first met you, Chan, you had short hair for like years. Like you never had long hair until recently.
Yeah, it's I mean, ever since I was a little kid, I wanted long hair, but this is untenable. This is not a good thing. It takes a lot of work to not just immediately clump up into just one giant dread.
Some people have dreads. He would just have dread.
Yep.
Yeah. So do you, buddy, you're doing it?
Just because, yeah, like now, this is the longest I've ever had it, so I'm like, well, let's see how long it'll go. And I just want to, just for the wedding, I'm just like, let's do this.
Nice.
Let's see how much we can irritate our mother-in-law.
Do the thing.
Last night on Gather Your Party on Saving Throw Show, on Geek and Sundry, it's all the same now. On Geek and Sundry, we had a thing where they had one of our, like, they had Ryan Green, who is like one of the longest standing members of like the engineering team, dance to Baby One More Time. So he has long hair, so he went away and had Blythe put him in pigtails, and he came back out, and everyone thought that was very funny, and he did the dance, and it was very good, and all the girls there put pigtails in. And then, just after the song was over, Sam Proof, who's TDing that show, came in with 2 giant dread pigtails,
Nice.
which are kind of a great look, like, but in like a sort of baby metal sort of way. Like, it's not really clear what's going on.
Baby metal's amazing.
Yeah. So it was like, yeah, it was good. Anyway, sorry, enough hair talk. Welcome to that channel no one likes on Twitch, where we just talk about hairstyles.
You brought this on yourself.
Yeah.
I mean,
This is Phoenix Hair Command.
All right, so Ether says, I don't know what much I can do. I mean, beyond trying to sort of guide you through some way back into the Crucibles or into the Daylit world, but I probably can add you to a new Phoenix's Crucible as their mentor. Now, you wouldn't have to do much until they completed their first cycle, but you know, then you'd be able to basically exit the Crucible and go wherever you wanted to.
Is it going to be 2 separate crucibles?
I can put you in the same one.
I mean, unless you want to go somewhere completely separate.
I'm just thinking of the phoenixes you've broken, never before they actually came out. This will be interesting.
Look, do we want to go or not, or do we want to stay in this endless whatever this is? Both options are awful.
Yeah, we're very close to the night side here, so things do have a way of sort of becoming and ceasing to exist and changing and transforming. Thankfully here in the center point, I have a lot more control. That is, again, if I exist. I may actually be an expression of this place.
And it better be a really short crucible.
Let's meet our mentee.
Well, all right, so it looks like, things must not be going well. It looks like we have about 10 slots to fill right now. You're looking for a particular school, or?
I don't care. I mean, you're basically dooming a new Phoenix. You know that, right?
I don't know. You're both high rank. You must have done well for yourselves.
For ourselves, don't know about the rest of them, but
Well, and do you have any, before I send you into this Crucible, do you have any questions? I mean, I did create the Phoenixes, essentially.
Yeah, but there's a whole new school you aren't even aware of.
Well, yeah, okay, so I
I
can't
mean, the
speak to
knowledge is
that.
perhaps a bit outdated. I mean, did anyone try and have an assault on the Hectarch before?
Well, the Phoenixes essentially were brought into existence because at the time, the Great War was causing all the different factions to create their own sort of soldiers. And, well, some people created the Fallen, we created the Phoenixes. There's been a lot of different, if you will, tools, soldiers in some ways. Let me see if there's anything. Nope.
Ink would love this guy.
Sci-Fi T-Rex says, Mac's hair can do no wrong. Good for that. I don't know. I mean, when the Phoenixes were created, the idea was that if we could create a group of soldiers or a group of heroes that would only get stronger, then these wars of attrition we were having would essentially be ours to win. But the Hectarch took that in a totally different direction.
there seems to be a lot of effort, creating tools and finding ways to postpone. Is there any way to stop the cycle entirely?
In theory, we could turn off the flame, but that would essentially doom all the phoenixes to be powerless.
What would happen to the dread?
The dread are powered by something else, just like the fallen are or all the rest. Different magics that exist in the dusk and manifest in the daylit world. And some of them go as far deep as this. There are certainly fallen on this level. Some of the really big ones.
And,
The harvesters are down here.
well, then we definitely want to leave.
Is there a font of evil?
I mean, the fire system is... The flame system is essentially something that we created.
It's Comic Sans.
Yeah, the font of evil. On the menu of the sandwich shop, Comic Sans is the font of evil.
I'm sorry, I couldn't not do it. I'm sorry, the Cinnamon Toast Crunch beer is ruining me.
Told you.
Speaking of which, let's try another cappuccino oatmeal stout.
They seemed fun, okay?
Sure.
I'm not complaining.
I mean, I would have picked the Lucky Charms beer myself, but I mean, that's just me.
I like the crunch of the marshmallows.
This morning, we went to, what's it called? Tony's Darts Away, which is the funnest name for a bar.
Sure.
And I had a beer mosa, which is beer and orange juice.
Sounds awful.
I would try that.
Really good. And then I had a Tony's Wake Up Call, which was another like a sort of beer-based or a coffee-based stout and coffee, and that was pretty good too. Yeah, it turns out
Seriously, it smells like Cinnamon Toast Crunch. It's out of control. Like,
oh,
it's weirdly good. It's like I put beer on Cinnamon Toast Crunch and ate it out of a bowl, which is not something I would ever do in real life, or is it? I'm an adult. I make decisions.
I've made some choices in my life.
We all have. It just got really bleak.
so either sees that either can tell that you're not the communicative members of your wing, and essentially says this like, all right, I'll give you this to consider. When we started this, many, many generations before you were born, I'm assuming, the Phoenixes were chosen as mortals. They chose this life. They were great heroes in the real world, and they entered the Crucible upon their death to become Phoenixes, to come back and fight that good fight, or fight for our people in another incarnation. Where that ended was we put a cap on the amount of times you can come back, because you came back stronger every time. So we said, after 7 incarnations, we sort of did the metaphysical math, you would be too strong or too dangerous. I mean, I'm sure you were all feeling it. At this point, your powers are quite great. So we had to put a cap on that. So we designed them to go out after that amount of time. Well, it turns out the need was greater than we thought. And eventually, the mechanisms that created Phoenixes had to find people who were worthy, but who didn't necessarily choose this life. So I know this is hard. But remember that it was never designed for this. You're already excelling past the boundaries of what Phoenixes were by adopting this life when it was thrust upon you. You shouldn't hold yourself to too hard of a standard in that sense.
Can those mechanisms still be altered?
Sure. In many ways, the mechanics are completely under the control of the Phoenixes, the Marshals. They just need to know how to do it.
How would they find out how to do it?
Well, we wrote all of it down before we came to this level. They should theoretically still be archived somewhere.
The somewhere is the question.
I wonder how the Hector would match up against a level 8 or 9 Phoenix.
Well, I wouldn't do that. But I mean, how should I know? Again, might not exist. Real interesting place to be.
I hate to say it, but I don't know what to do with this information at this point.
Well, we can pass it on to Ink and see if he has any.
Yeah, if maybe he's done having his fit or whatever it is. I mean, I can't be the only one who noticed.
I daren't presume his motivations.
Maybe you should.
I'll leave that to you.
All right. Well,
I guess a crucible it is.
okay. So, endurance are easy. Here is a soldier who died on the line. He was fighting to keep his town from being overrun by some sort of terrible animated golem creatures. So that should be fun.
Barrel of laughs.
You'll have an amount of ability to essentially create the world around him to help him learn. As soon as he learns to accept his ability as a bulwark against the undead, he'll move on to his next stage, and hopefully that will reset both of you. You'll have a little bit before he gets there. Hope that works. Just walk through the fire and you'll be where you need to be.
And after we help him get out of his crucible, then we can go away from them.
I think so. I think it should put you back out into the dusk. But I'm not sure. This has never happened before. You're not really supposed to be mortal on this side.
No kidding. Does that sound agreeable to you?
Let's do this.
All right.
So you walk through the flame.
Poor Durant.
And you exit in sort of a well-lit, sort of beautiful, castle interior.
How many Durants have you killed anyway?
I lost track. We should definitely make sure there's more weapon racks in here, though.
Somehow I don't think you'll need him.
I don't know.
Do you want to do anything specifically, or just wait until this Phoenix manifests?
I feel like over preparation would just.
I mean, do we? I don't even know how to set up a tent. I don't know what a Durant crucible is like. Your crucible's obviously awful. Mine's awful.
Well, let's make this a pleasant experience for him.
What do you suggest? You want to put some flowers out, or what?
But tough flowers?
Tough flowers? What does that mean?
Tell me, how many times have I mentored a phoenix through their crucible? About the same number of times as you?
Yeah, but you have some ideas about making it pleasant, and I want to know what that means. Because neither of us have had particularly pleasant crucibles.
So we'll just do the opposite.
All right, so for a brief second, there's a loud sound of combat. And you can hear, someone calling out, hold the line, men! We've got this! Don't worry, we'll hold them back! Just wait till the women and children are out! Do what you can! And then there's sort of dyed-in-the-wool soldier appears. His armor is torn and his clothing is stained with blood, and you can see where there's his skin is clean and not there's no wound, but you can definitely see a big hole where probably something went through his armor and his clothes, and probably him. And he's
Welcome to the Crucible.
A whatable? I'm sorry. My people, they're in danger. We were doing our best to hold them back, and I don't know.
And you failed.
You are not alive anymore.
That's the bad news.
What's the good news?
The good news is you're going to get another chance. Do you know what the Phoenixes are?
Yeah, we had a phoenix in the fight. His name was Atmos. He was holding quite a line for us, but there were too many of them, and he couldn't be in as many places as he could.
Yeah, this one remembers him.
I wonder what time he came from.
Well, welcome to the other side. Tell me, what is your name?
It's Jackson.
That's not going to do.
Think again.
I was a soldier. I guess my name is Jackson Butcher because I was the son of a butcher, but I could be Jackson Soldier. I'm sorry, do I have to have a different name? Is that how that works?
It'll come to you.
Can we just call you soldiers? Does that work?
Okay.
Okay, all right, we settled that. That's established. There's supposed to be a lesson part. I didn't have. Did you have a mentor? I didn't have a mentor.
I didn't. Look. You'll be here in this, what we call a crucible, until you learn the lessons you need to learn about being a phoenix. We don't actually know what those lessons are, but we'll figure it out together, right? Right.
So that next time you don't die so easy?
So I have to learn to be stronger, so I don't die as quickly, or maybe to be tougher.
You're a bulwark. You are the last line of defense. You must be prepared to put yourself in front of the women and children for the rest of your days.
And the other men, let's be honest.
Absolutely.
Okay. He looks like sort of looking around in his
You're
face.
surprisingly good at this.
He finds one of the weapon racks.
I recommend those. No, those are good. Those are your friends.
I don't need. Do I need them?
Look.
You've got to find it in yourself.
But those help.
I'm gonna sock him in the stomach.
All right. You want to? How hard do you want to hit him? First off, I mean, like you. Go ahead and make a spread, and then it's as hard as you hit him. You can treat. You can imagine he's probably a rank 1 phoenix in terms of health levels. So he's not immortal. So if it was immortal, you would, and 1 health level would kill him. So he probably has the 5 you start with, or maybe an infinite amount. You don't know.
He can't really die again in his crucible, which he just died to get into.
That's true.
You know what?
It's a little too
I'm gonna
meta crucible.
Punch him for 2.
Okay.
I like that terrifying is there too.
You feel.
You know what? I'm gonna stun him with terrifying too.
Okay. You feel his rib cage cave in as you punch him, but which is not uncommon for phoenixes to survive. And he goes like flying backwards into a wall.
Lesson 1: don't get hit.
No, lesson 1, do get hit.
Don't get hit.
Get back up.
He gets up and he's amazed that his body still works, but he is stunned, so he's just sort of staring at both of you and doesn't know what to do.
We're stuck here forever.
We're stuck here until he learns how to take a punch.
We're stuck here forever.
He sort of like collects himself.
How do you
I'm
feel?
kind of like at the weapon rack.
Okay. Do I get the weapon rack or do I take a punch? I'm kind of willing to do both here. I don't want this to last forever. How long is this supposed to last?
Hopefully not long. I imagine we have watches, but we probably don't.
How long? that doesn't make any.
Brr!
He goes over to one of the weapons racks. He's not going to pick one up until he gets like direct approval, but he realizes that it's a premium weapons rack. And he picks up a book of love poetry by Robert Not Bob.
Damn it!
Hobnot, and goes like,
Give me that! I just gonna snatch it from him.
sorry, I don't. All these things are very confusing. I don't know what.
Books are not the weapon.
No books. Okay.
You're endurant. If you're shrouded, I maybe say something different, but you're not.
He's like, well, I'm in a lot of pain, and I don't think that biologically I should be able to live right now because that's not how a chest is supposed to look. But he sort of like goes over to you and just sort of like stands there and goes like, okay, if I have to take a hit, I'll take a hit. I'm willing to take a hit. As long as I can get back on the front lines as soon as possible, I will take a hit. If this means getting back to my family, I never expected like my fairy godparents to be,
Like,
oh, looking at the poetry book? Yeah. It's surprisingly erotic.
You're a durant. Your job is to take punishment.
So should I...
there's pictures in this one.
should
I rip it in half like a phone book,
Okay.
like when people are showing off that they can do that.
Do we even have daguerreotypes?
Much later in time when printing is a thing. So should I... Like he's looking around like if there's weapons, should I get armor or should I learn to block or should I just take the hits? What should I do? You're clearly my defense teacher and you're my offense teacher? Is that how I'm reading this? It seems very odd. You kind of make sense as an offense teacher. You're some sort of big wolf monster. I'm sorry, this is true. But I don't know why a defense teacher is a small child in a weird warping reality.
I would prepare myself to block a hit right about now.
All right, he like sort of starts to clearly like flinching, get ready. Whack. Okay, go ahead
He
and
will
make a
give you
spread.
2 for flinching.
Literally 2 for flinching.
He's fast enough to do that.
Yeah, whatever. I'll do 2 again.
Okay. He
It's for flinching.
manages to sort of like push your attack off to the side of him and like sort of scampers back and he's like, okay. I mean, but I blocked it. Did I have to take it? I'm sorry, this is all very confusing.
You're not the only one who's confused. Look.
3 again?
Smack.
Okay, he
Oh, give me that again, please.
he manages to like get his arms up in time, but he doesn't have like the wherewithal to defend against all of it, and you sort of like bruise/break his arm as you push him back, and he sort of like lands. And again, now this is 3 wounds he's gotten, so he's like 3 of his 5. So he's still standing, but like his arm isn't really working. And he's like, okay, this is feeling. I think I'm getting it. I mean, I don't necessarily know if this is the best thing that could ever happen to me, being some sort of terrible pain magnet for other people.
All right, you were fighting the dread, right?
Yeah, these creatures are sort of formed out of nowhere, made of earth and stones.
You're going to be able to withstand a lot more than you were able to before. And right now, we are in a place where you are able to be stronger than you were ever before. These wounds are nothing.
What more should I do?
There's a reason you're here now. Something brought you here.
What are you fighting for?
My town, my people. I just couldn't. I was strong enough to fight. Some weren't, and we had no way to escape. Once Atmos arrived, we thought maybe we could make it to the boats and head over to somewhere else, but there was just too many of them. I mean, I know he's so famous. He was so talented. He showed us so much, but he was only one phoenix.
That poor bastard.
Every phoenix has something driving them, something that made them who they are. You're here now because of who you are. Find that inside of you.
If you want to keep fighting, you have the power to keep fighting now.
But are you both phoenixes, or are you just some sort of teachers?
Yes.
Well, if you're phoenixes, what drives you?
My mother.
Not failing again. There are different types of phoenixes. We're different than the kind of phoenix you are. You're designed to be tough and laugh a lot, apparently.
Oh no, I'm just okay. So
Oh no, what did you guys do?
Chat! Trona activates Eye of the Storm to turn you back into a kid.
So as phoenixes come back, they get quirkier. Things get weird.
Did he get less wobbly?
He has a condition.
What do you want to do?
Why? What? No. Why? What is what? No. I gotta get out of here. I gotta. Start
Okay.
running.
You certainly, because you have your speed, you can basically this is an expansive castle, but there are no doors or exits. But you can like sort of travel all around it. So he's speeding around out there.
Let him run it off. We're gonna let him run it off.
Okay, well, while he's having some sort of attack, you don't want to be a failure again?
Yes, but I'm a very different phoenix than you are. Okay. When I died, I was stabbed in the back by the bones. I'm assuming you at least have heard of them, if not fought them directly.
No, but yeah, certainly travelers come and tell stories of the bones, yeah.
There is nothing worse for a warrior of the Grimaldi than to die being stabbed in the back. I came back largely for revenge. I'm not necessarily the best of the phoenix kinds that are out there, but a lot of them, and I've met a lot of them, fight for what is right and fight to fix the world.
Sorry, this might be an insulting question. I've never been to the Grimwald. Are all the Grimwaldi 9.5 foot tall wolves, or is that just a phoenix thing?
It's a phoenix thing.
So before
So just
you were,
ignore that sound that just happened, because it's probably awful.
you were before that you were a person?
Yes. I mean, have you at least heard of the Berserkers from the Grimwald?
Yes, they're legendary warriors. Amongst my unit, we talked a lot about them.
You will find the more that you die and come back, the less you will look like you.
So why are you a wolf and he's a child, or what?
I don't know.
Why are there no doors here? Why are there no doors here? I
I'm
want
gonna
to
put
go
you
home.
on timeout!
You can sort of the kid from The Incredibles it too. You can like run on walls and ceilings here, so you can. Yeah.
When I was fighting against particularly other tribes, I channeled the spirits of my people, which happened to be more of a wolf nature. And when I came back as a phoenix, more and more of that side took hold. I didn't pick this, but it is what I am, and it's all that I have to fight against the dread.
So is there, when you came back, was it clear that this is what you were going to end up as, or were you just a regular per person? There might be something might have happened while you were gone, because we got a sound alert.
Yeah, and
It feels like the bad kind of sound alert. It might be.
yeah, I think it was a bad sound show. I gotta get this out now. I can't.
Quickly tell the story of what how was
Things were bad, and then was werewolf, and no.
Oh yeah, okay. Now you're a puppy. Inevitable.
Yeah.
I don't know what to do with this.
Okay, here's what we'll say. We'll like do like vignettes, because this is like it's a very special episode. We'll do vignettes. So
Guys.
with neither of you to guide him, soldier, for lack of any other options, basically like spends some time training, and he spends some time like there's like a practice dummy in one of the rooms, and he starts like throwing himself against it to take punches, and he keeps trying to get you to have a conversation with him, but you're a kid and you won't, and then so
Is
what
he throwing anything from the weapon rack?
he
And I'm
might.
just bringing it back?
Okay, so you'll play fetch with him for a while. And then
I'm chasing you, obviously.
okay.
Yeah.
So
It's like chasing a squirrel.
okay. So you're chasing him around, and Soldier like trains more. Like, you know, some time goes by. What are you doing?
Probably just curled up for a nap. Chasing
Okay.
is really exhausting.
Well, I will say then in like, you know, pure cuteness Studio Gelby style, like once you've worn yourself out and you're curled up for a nap, like Soldier takes a break and like curls up on you and sleeps for a while.
I'm like,
And then gets up and trains more. And then we'll say after like a good day or two, you both regain your faculties. And he thinks
Go
he's
home. Go home. Let me go home. Where's it? Why is there no doors?
scratching the walls.
Please,
But it's just
mister,
horrible
go
with the
home.
Pyrian claws. It's just
Yeah.
like raking into the walls.
So again, like a day later, you're both normal again, or as normal as you ever are. And
Well, that was inconvenient.
does that always happen, or
Well, the life of a phoenix is complicated.
all right? Well, and he like goes over to the weapons rack and grabs like a shield or something, and like a simple practice staff, and he goes, I think I'm ready. I think I'm ready to do what you need me to do, teachers. Like I think I can do it. I think I can. I think I'm.
Oh, sorry. Sorry.
I think I'm willing to. I don't know if I can, but I think I'm willing to do what I have to do.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's all any of us have.
So what do you want to do? How do you want to test him? Jesus, it's scary in real life.
I'm gonna let this happen.
All right, do you want to take a swing at him?
Yeah, I don't want to like tighten up as much as you want to, and then just
All right.
Crack him.
All right. Well, what are you throwing down?
I mean, let's just do a 4.
Okay.
See how he deals with a 4.
Basically, like he sees it swinging in, and then he takes it, he puts the shield up and he blocks what he can, but he still takes some. It shatters the shield because it's not his talent or anything. It shatters the shield and breaks his arm and part of his body, and he sort of falls down and he pushes himself back up again. He goes, "Okay, I can keep doing this. I got it. I think I got it." And he sort of like gets in and he braces again, and he's sort of like looking at you to brace, and it looks like he's ready for another one.
It's more than just taking a punch, though. So, let's see, I'm going to use a thing that's going to let me do a thing. I can't, like, completely mate him. Or can I? Okay, so I can do an attack of 9 right now.
Oh god.
But I'm going to use Feed on Fear.
Okay.
So he has to tell me what he's afraid of, because I feel like that's part of the test. At least it was for Varya.
Okay.
And since there's only one other wingmate around, they have to tell me what they're afraid of or burn a spark. Sorry. You are the de facto person for that. So I'm going to lunge on top of him and like not try and like kill him, but claws into his shoulders.
Okay. He like cries out like, "I'm not sure this is real. I think I'm dead, and this is like my sort of terrible nightmare as I go out. Like I think it's teasing me with the chance to return, but it's not real. It's terrible, but too good to be true. I think this is some sort of terrible nightmare. It's teasing me."
It's nuts.
You've basically like killed him, but because it's his crucible, he just basically resets. And he sort of like, like pulls himself together, and he realizes that his body is together. And what do you want to reveal a fear before we move on to the next thing, or spend a spark,
Or you burn a spark. Those are your options.
Yeah. What?
I'm here to ruin your life.
I don't want to, because this is the cheap way out. Like, he's afraid that this will never end. Like the worst for him would be that the Seven Deaths isn't it, and that it's just more of this forever and ever and ever, because the Phoenix and the Dread are locked in the cycle of just continual back and forth.
That's really upsetting.
So he hears this too, and he sort of like stands up and he goes like, okay, didn't die. And he like goes and like finds another shield and he goes like, I think I'm ready. And he like basically takes his first rank, and so like he like fades out of his crucible. And at this point, there's a hole in space where you could follow him into the daylit world, or you'll just stay in his crucible and theoretically be able to travel out of it as you did before. What do you want to do?
I'm worried about finding another door. But I'm worried about being able to get sent back.
We were still on a recruitment mission. Apparently we went too far down, but we may be back to where we were originally, so we can continue doing that. If we have broken things too much, it might behoove us to get to the daylit world.
Maybe they sent us here once before, and we know how to get back.
Okay.
We're gonna dive into the daylit world because we may have broken everything, and we don't know that, and we don't want to be stuck fighting ourselves.
Okay. Well, you travel out of the like sort of pathway driven by Soldier, or by who you called Soldier, into the daylit world.
That's
but
his name now.
Come out in your time, not his. He was actually he was a Phoenix from earlier. So when you arrive, like you sort of like step out of the Imperial Flame, there are some of the marshals are there to greet you, and like a clearly like rank 4 or 5 soldier is there, and he goes like, "Oh wow, I never thought it would actually be the case. I can't believe that my first trainer was actually the Varya and Eerie. I kind of thought I just made that part up."
I feel like I should apologize.
No, thank you. I've heard some stories of crucibles, and you did me very well.
Yeah. Who knew? Punching was the way to go.
He's like,
I did.
you can see like from the scarring that he's like, like he's bigger and stronger, but he's basically like apparently been just taking hits. So like that's his thing, and so like he's just like been totally beat down through 5 ranks. But it's he's very good apparently what he does. His wing is very like happy to have him. He's actually, I knew you'd be back here. Like we calculated, my Shrouded calculated that you'd return now because of how this is all working. The marshals have told me a little bit about what you're doing and entering the crucibles and all that. I can't hope to understand it. But I was wondering if I might beg you into one more daylit mission before you go back.
Sure.
I mean, the Hectarch's our priority, though.
We've got all the time in the world.
We don't. Depends on what your daylight mission is, because we have to get back to the dusk.
All right. Well, there's
Ink and Atmos are still in there.
Fine.
those things I fought before, the golems or whatever. They're back, and they've been attacking coastal towns. We think they're trying to sort of destroy coastal access to try and hold the Imperial forces from using the boats to transport each other. So we're hoping to make a beachhead and fight them at... Oops, sorry, I used to know the name of this town, and now I don't. Yay, map! At Darium. And if you could come and help us, there aren't any available high-ranking Phoenixes for this mission, so if you would come with us, it could mean the world.
We don't have time for this.
There is no time in the dusk. We'll get back when we get back.
Provided we get back at all. You get to come back another time. I don't.
Oh, please. What's a golem going to do? Are you afraid of a golem? Afraid of a golem?
I don't think there's just one, you know. Really?
Please. My goodness. Beans would be all over this.
Good for beans. Well, fine. If we're going to do this,
You're healed, by the way.
we should. I was about to say we should at least find someone to heal.
We can get you some environmental objects here. I'm going to go ahead and make this the weapon rack that was created by. I made
It
it
is
a
a
weapon
weapon
rack.
rack.
Yeah,
It is racked with weapons.
Yes, it's a weapon rack. Premium weapon rack.
That was Trona.
Trona, we'll give that. That'll be Trona's premium one. It comes with an additional book of poetry, and it's also a weapon rack with a W because apparently I'm not paying much attention.
Yay, spelling.
Let's see.
This
Yeah.
is why Varya and Eerie do not hang out. This is just awkward. It's probably the worst pairing of the group.
No shipping possibilities, sadly.
No. No, like anti-shipping. They're like, please just separate them and put them in different wings.
But every good TV show has to have that one where the two characters that never get any time together have time together. Like, you have to have that episode where, you know, I'm trying to think of what the Buffy equivalent is. It'd be like a Wesley and Giles episode, really. But like, it's got to be. There's an episode where
It's
two.
maybe like
Is this
Giles
a
and
Dr. Light
Xander.
episode?
What's that?
Is this a Dr. Light episode?
Yeah,
Maybe Giles and Xander.
yeah. Yeah, it's a Giles and Xander episode where you're like, well, I don't really need to know what their relationship is, but I guess it's interesting to know it. Like, this is basically feeding the, you know, like, hardcore feeding Stawn Command fans, like, really good, useful trivia for later. Like, well, they did have a mission, actually, in episode 21/22, and,
We
they...
know none of you are going to be doing that.
I don't know.
Yeah, where's our Phoenix Dawn Command wiki?
There is one.
Yeah.
There's something on it, but
But
there is one.
Plus, there's no way to blend Eerie and Varya in like a good way anyway.
Varya.
Hashtag. Ew, that sounds like a disease.
Oh, it sounds like a delicious burrito.
A burrito disease.
Yes.
Or perhaps a diseased burrito.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know if you've seen it. There's a company, and I guess they do like, I don't know, something, but they're Eco LA, but they decided they would put their logo all together so it says like Ecola.
Oh, wow.
And I'm just like, is that like a hybrid horrible virus you're going to unleash on the world? And then by the same token, I want to go, Ecola!
There's a website, I'm sure it's gone now, but there was QI did a whole special of them, and one was Penn Island, which is Penis Land.
I'll take the penis mightier. Mr. Connery, that is, the pen is mightier.
And then there was speedofart.com, which is Speedo Fart.
I'll take the rapist for 200. That's therapists.
Oh, and Child's Exchange.
Yeah, oh.
Child's exchange. Awful.
Oh.
I need one more
The world is
city
full
on
of
it.
deliciously horrible things. Some of them at this table.
Okay, so you're fighting in a ruined city, so, sorry, I only have this red marker today. It is, you have,
Really? Oh,
Oh.
all the Sharpies are down there.
yeah, now that we only have 2 cast members today, we can't reach any of the pens.
What do you think I have these claws for?
All right, so they're very nice today. You should.
Thank you.
It's a shame we don't have the close-up cam. You could do the like mani pedi cam. Very nice.
I'm not doing the petty cam, thank you very much. That shit's chipped.
Oh well. So it's a whole town that's like been fighting for a while. So there's a fallen tower There's a weapons rack with a W for some reason. There's some Imperial soldier corpses. There's a cart. There's a sewer cap, and there's glass. Those are some of the environmental objects available to you today. So these golems are basically all different. They're all made up of like a bunch of nearby objects. So there's like a stone one. There's one made out of like, I mean, they're all basically like earthen, but like there's, you know, the stone one. There's one made up of like, you know, scraps of wood. There's one made up of, you know, like pieces of building. And they all sort of have like a central, like stone, like a glowing stone that is apparently like the focal point of them. And essentially, you basically like hack them apart until you can get to it, and then if you can either keep it separate by like keeping hold of it or destroy it, then they can't come back. And we'll go ahead and say that there are a bunch of them.
Would you like one?
And Soldier and his
Smoking
wing.
trophies like you do. 'Cause we're 5.
Soldier and his wing like sort of fan out. Well, you take the Imperial Flame over to the area here, and Soldier and his wing sort of like fan out, but he's clearly hanging back towards you. And it's sort of like a Senpai Notice Me thing where he like wants to show off that he knows what he's doing to the two of you, because in many ways you are like, you know, his early mentors.
How many of these are we going to collect between him and Man Bun?
Man Bun is after something else altogether.
I saw the images. I saw what he drew. It was inappropriate. But like, damn, if he applied his art skills to something else.
Again, I cannot believe. Does anyone else have? Does anyone in the chat have an Amazon Fire? Can they tell me if Amazon Fire's lock screens are normally an ad? Because that's just bullshit.
Oh, and I'm assuming I can use Shadow Wolf now.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a thing that is happening. Should I start us out?
You ready for this, soldier?
I'll try.
Good for you.
Eerie!
Just get me started.
Okay, I'm gonna use superhuman reflexes, which lets me draw a card. Oh, my hand is terrible right now. I'm gonna burn a spark so I can draw another card. These are awful. This is gonna be like.
Oh no, it might be under 30.
It's that bad. Okay, that helps me a little bit.
This ore cord is a little less.
So I'm gonna use superhuman reflexes with the weapon rack, because I'm gonna be trying to drive in a weapon at the core of one of these golems.
Okay.
So right now I can do not a lot. Let's see, that's gonna be 8, 9, 12, 14. That sucks.
14. Okay, so you do some damage to it. Like you basically you manage to. Well, how are you attacking it with a weapons rack? Just sort of like throwing it at it, or
Actually, because of the gems they have, I'm taking the actual like spears and stuff and trying to drive it in at that and chip away down into the core.
It gets its limb, like giant golem limb, in between the attack and its core, and you cleave the limb off wholeheartedly and do some damage to it, but it doesn't destroy the centerpiece at all. Chan, you have an action before they go.
Put this here.
I'm gonna huck that sewer cap at one of them, and when they go up to block that, I'm gonna go in and try and sock him in the midsection, try and take out, try to reach that jam.
All right, go ahead and make one spread or make 2 spreads, but like either way, the higher the spread, the better, because the mechanics of the game will allow you to do more damage from that than just for story elements alone.
Oh.
So Mac, is the little is the woman with a headerchief pin supposed to be you, or is that just a coincidence?
Oh, we found that at a con, and I had to get it because it looked a little too much like me to not buy it.
I'm into it.
Yeah. Actually, what I really like is my Emily, the strange one here. It says, "Forget Prince Charming, I'll take the wolf."
I've got 2 12s.
Okay. You'll do significant damage to it, but it manages to like move enough to move your attack into its basic body.
Like the golems, he says.
It's going to do a rank or a level 6 attack at all of you, and everyone involved.
They're both all.
Well, also at Soldier, who like you see just basically like just doesn't defend, just sort of walks up towards it and it attacks, and he just sort of like stands there, and it's like stones break against his body as he hits it, and he's like, "I'll hold it off. Just do the damage."
All right. I can do a defense 4, and I have Vengeful, so I'm going to burn 2 sparks so I can make an attack back against them immediately.
Okay, it's only gonna be 1 wound from that.
Cool, because then I can flip Grimclaw too. Yes. Let's see. What do I want to attack
10,
back with?
12. I got a small and quick for a 12 defense,
All right, you're fine.
and then counterattack.
Okay, you do another serious amount of damage to it.
Okay. Let's see here. What do I want to do back to it?
I fling a chicken at it.
Oh, do you also get to just attack back? Oh, also, I'm gonna use Shield of Flame. Give it a burning condition.
Give it some Fearer.
Yeah. Also, I've disappeared, so I'm gonna be attacking out of nowhere, so that'll be fun. Yeah, like you do. So I'm gonna use crude but effective,
Okay.
and then these cards. So that's gonna give me 5, 6, 10, 16 right now.
Okay. You take the 1 wound, but you manage to sort of turn the attack against it, and you crush the stone, and it deanimates. And Soldier's like, "Yeah, all right, here we go." And somebody notice me. So let's see here. I think it's going to cycle back around to more chicken sounds while I'm checking the drive here, but that's the nature of the beast. All right, so he basically is like saving his cards to defend in that sort of way. So he's sort of standing around you, and you can see his wing is like used to having him block for them, but like they understand. Like, you know, they're like tighter. They're like the One Tree Hill of wings. They have like long conversations and when you walk some shit. They're like, "He needs this."
Dawson's Creek of wings.
Yeah. One of them turns back to each other like music sting, like, "Hey, sometimes, you know, he just needs to do stuff for him. I get it, but we're in combat right now, and it feels real important that he be here with us. Hey, you got to realize he has his own perspective on it." Sorry, I'm not going to do an entire Dawson's Creek.
Thank you. Thank you for not doing that.
Pacey, man. All right, so
Soldier's pacey.
yeah, he's pacey. What did he just appear in recently? Where the actor appeared in something talking about Dawson's Creek. I think it was a movie.
Did you counterattack?
Yeah, it's all
All
done.
right, so we
It's-
can make our regular
back
attacks.
to regular actions, yeah.
Hey, what's up, Fallen Tower? I'm gonna take bits of that rubble piece and use it to drive again more at the chest of them,
Okay.
trying to break through.
Draw a card from that, and then
Let's see here. So I can do. Save that card. I can do 15 right now.
okay. It takes a couple of wounds, and it it pushes it back. It basically like you knock it over, but it sort of reforms. So as it like instead of falling over, it just sort of like becomes more porous for a second, and then like turns back into a humanoid shape.
So it gets knocked down, but it gets up again.
Yes. It also had a whiskey drink and a vodka drink. Yeah.
You should not mix alcohols. These guys are going down of their own accord.
Yeah.
We don't even have to do anything. We just have to wait,
Yeah.
sit back and wait. Really, we're on like a speedboat? What
Yeah,
the
some of
fuck
these-
is that?
Like, this is the part, like, again, it's an awesome feature of Playmail games, is that, like, some of these are, like, setting a scene as it happens. This is the Celtic war cry. There we go.
Is it?
Not anymore.
Okay. It sounded like a speedboat.
Yes, it was a Celtic speedboat.
I've met a few Celts that a lot of them did actually sound like speedboats.
Alright, what do you want to do, Eerie?
I am going to use the glass, sort of whip around one of them and sort of like kind of float these pieces of glass and then, you know, stop so that it kind of sees like reflections of a few different versions of me and distract them enough to swipe in and punch him in the jaw.
Not thinking that was where you were going to go with that. That was really interesting.
I like that.
I thought you were going to do fucking Bullseye from that terrible Daredevil movie where you were like, grab like handfuls of glass, like throwing it out really fast. You made me miss! Why do I exist? A terrible abomination of a character.
I would
I'm just
never
so angry. I'm so angry all the time.
take
I don't even
inspiration
know
from
why.
the Colin Farrell project.
Apparently this marauding golem is much more steam powered than I thought.
Welcome to a very special steampunk episode of
Yeah.
Phoenix Dawn Command. Phoenix Steam Command.
Steam Command!
Yeah.
No, just like 8, 11.
Okay. You'll do 1 wound to him for that.
It would be interesting to
but
do
you
this
gotta-
in a steampunk world.
Yeah, it would. Now it's getting there.
Alright. Alright. Now we're getting it.
Alright. Okay, so what do you want to do? Sorry, it's going to attack. So there's 2 of them now, so 2 strength 6 attacks. No, 7. Strength 7.
2 of them?
2 of them, so you're going to make 2 7 defenses.
I can block one of them completely,
Okay.
and I can't block the other one.
You don't have any other cards at all? You don't have any grace? Alright, so you'll take... Actually, no. Soldier will dive in front of that and take 3 whole attacks on himself. But because he's a Durin and it divides by 3, he's surprisingly durable. So he's like, they're basically just like pounding on him, and he's like, this is what you taught me to do!
Good job, buddy! Good job!
I'm like this because of you!
What have we done?
So both of you can, oh, you need to make a defense still, those 2. 2 of them, actually. Math.
That was a terrible song.
So I figured out for the character cards that we unlocked at the end of last year that we should make. There's gonna be 5 of them, I think. I'm gonna pay for the 5th one so that we can do like all 4 of the original cast in Atmos, right? As much as I would like a Kelvin card, it just those are the 5 that matter. But instead of making them like just numeric cards or like base cards that like attach to the school, I think they should be like the reward cards. So your like Memoirs of the Chant sort of one that you have. So there'll be specific cards that have like a specific thing that attaches to them. So obviously like the Varya one is going to be like terrifying savagery or something. I gotta figure them all out.
Crude
like,
but savage.
Yeah, like what is he? Crude but crude. Or crude but ineffective. like do the job but at -5.
Thanks for that.
You're effective and you know it. It's always a good sign though as a game master when your players are so invested in your character that when I'm like, your character's not great at all this stuff, you're like, I'm personally sad. Alright, what do you got?
I've got a 6 and a 5.
Okay, so the 6 does nothing, the 5 you take a wound from.
I'm gonna take that wound.
Okay.
The Death Wish.
I'd rather not. I want 1. I want 1 wound, please.
Really?
Do you need it for?
I hit
doing it?
harder. It's better.
Yeah, all right, take it then.
Give me your fucking wound.
The soldier sees you taking that wound and is like, "Yeah, that's the way you do it. Yeah."
No, you can't take that away from me.
I learned from watching you. All right, so and again, he's not.
And I also disappear.
Okay, he's not taking aggressive actions. He sort of like stands up. The one that like is beating on him, he pushes it off, and he like stands up and he sort of goes, "Come on!" and is like trying to distract it. So I'll give you both +2 on your next actions because he's sort of getting in the way.
Okay.
And his wing is like, this is how he works.
Shall I? I'm gonna take the cart, but what I'm actually gonna do is try and shove a golem into it, so the handle on it is actually like puncturing through their chest.
Okay. You and Tracy should have a thinks of ways to dismember people contest, just to see which one of you gets there first on everything. I'd donate to see that.
Bet on me. Okay, so these are cards. You probably can't read too much, but I'll do the math for you and myself. So I've got, let's see, 8, and then another 3 is 11, and 12, 13. So that's 17.
Okay. You finish that one off. The handle of the cart destroys the gem as you push into it.
Cool.
What do you want to do? There's a fresh one up.
Okay, no, that didn't. Okay, yeah, those one.
We've moved into spaceship noises now.
They're Transformers, my god! Golems in
I'm just gonna put it briefly.
disguise!
There's a sound called "waiting your turn."
What? It's just the sound of ambient noise from a DMV. Yeah, it sounds like ambient noise from a DMV. Waiting your turn. Do you ever watch Reaper?
No.
Oh, he has to go turn in like the vessels after he captures like escaped souls from hell, and the devil's like, oh, well, you have to go turn it in, at a place that's hell on earth. And he's like, well, where's that? Well, it's the DMV, obviously. So he has to go to the DMV windows to turn in the souls he's captured in like all kinds of like bullshit vessels.
I got an 8 and a 15.
Okay, the 8 won't do it, and the 15 will.
Yeah.
For the 8, do you want to give me 4 sparks to push it over the edge?
4 sparks?
Yeah. They have high defense. They're made of stone.
No.
All right.
Oh, that'd
Just
be
1 damage. Okay.
I just imagine somebody running around a fire going, ah!
It really is the DMV.
They failed their driving test again.
So you put some damage on it. It strikes back. Both of you. This is a strength 8 attack.
Superhuman reflexes.
Okay, I'll give you 5.
I can do 7.
All right, no damage.
What? It's like a buzzsaw. It's like ah.
Some of these are for specific things, I'm assuming.
It's terrible.
uh, 14.
14? Yeah, you're well defended, and you're going to hit it back?
Yeah.
All right, I'll do some damage. Soldier will do the same thing, actually. He'll defend, but counterattack with one of his abilities and do some damage to it. It seems like it's on its last legs. Most of the town seems like it's been pretty well defended at this point, thanks to your careful interaction. So, what do you want to do to finish it off?
Let's see. All right. I'm gonna go ahead and use Ruthless, which is awesome, and it allows me to draw a card, which I really need right now. So that's 5, 10, 15, 19.
Okay. That'll finish it off.
All right.
So you smash it into bits,
Smashy, smashy.
Soldier sort of like, huffing and puffing, and he's like, oh, thanks. It was a real honor to fight with you guys one time. I hope things go well for you on your next mission, and thank you so much for starting me off so well as a Phoenix.
We could use more help against the Hectarch. How would you like to go on another mission?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, if my wing can spare me, and they're like...
It will involve getting back to the Dusk, which is where the Crucibles are, but we're going up against the Hectarch, which is, as far as we can tell, the source of the dread.
Okay, sure. I got your back. I'll protect you. It's what I do. You taught me well.
Let's go.
Let's do this.
So you can actually take the Imperial Flame to the area that you captured, and then flip over the Dusk that way without having to go through Halfsbridge. And you do, and you arrive where there's I would say maybe 30 Phoenixes from various Crucibles, are there awaiting the final push. After a exciting RP scene to be had now, we'll wrap up tonight. But as this is the end of your sort of duo adventure, what do you say to each other?
Let's not do that again.
That seems like a real good idea.
Yeah.
And scene. All right, no, all right, go ahead.
This isn't going to be the end of it.
It never will be.
All right. That sounds pretty. That's a good one. That's a good one. All right. So here's
the two characters are the most like. Everything sucks.
All right. So let's lay out a sort of timeline here. So what we're gonna do is next week we're gonna do another. I actually think that I kind of like this idea too much. Next week we're gonna do another 2-player mission that is just Ink and Atmos.
For all you shippers out there,
yes, it'll
stay
be
tuned.
Yes. In terms of Ink Atmos shippers, I think Josh is
Were you
one
about
of
to
them.
say shitmos?
Shitmos. No. I was not, but I'll live that down. I think Josh is an Ink Atmos shipper. I think he likes playing into the ship, so it should be fine. We'll do another mission of that, and then we're gonna be off for 1 week while there's a big convention here in town that we're all gonna be attending. I don't know if they're gonna put a replacement game in here or not. And then the week after that is the end of season 1, which will be like the final fight against the Hectarch. And then we're going to be on break for an unspecified amount of time while we figure out where the Saturday sort of timelines are. Basically until ourselves and Masks are both on break at the same time. And then we're going to sort out when we come back. And there's all kinds of great announcements about that we'll tell you in 2 weeks. Obviously, as I got the new job at Geek and Sundry and the world went to shit at the election, our times have not been what they could be, but we're getting back on track. So tune in next week for a ship-tastic ship episode of Shipping. And then tune in 2 weeks after that for the final episode of season 1, which will be the final fight with the Hectarch, and what will happen there, who will survive. We have at least 2 Phoenixes who could die for good in that fight.
Phoenix Ship Command.
Phoenix Ship Command. Ship Dawn Command. Well, no.
Dawn Ship? What?
Dawn Ship. The great ship, Dawn Ship Command.
Ship Dawn Command.
Yes. Almost all, I mean, I don't want to tell you anything about season 2 exactly yet, but I will say that 90% of this table will be coming back as new characters, so you'll be able to see a lot of good stuff from that. So,
Did you say 90% of this table?
Yeah.
Of the actual physical table that we're going to cut out, like 1/10
of the table is going
the actual
on
table
sabbatical.
here.
You're going to auction it off as a Patreon.
Yeah, exactly.
10% of our table for only several $100s. And of course, we're going to do the event where we build a wing that will be NPCs in that, and we're going to also be hanging out with Keith Baker a little more in the next season, so that'll be fun too.
Cool.
Has you any plugs, anyone?
Yes, actually. So I'm part of an upcoming project. I can't say exactly what I'm doing in it. I can say I will be the physical manifestation of karma. I guess that's about as far as I can go. It is a short horror film that is centered around the awfulness that is the meat trade, the dog meat trade. It's not good. But go to gofundme.com/meattradefilm and take a look at all the info there, and please donate so that we can make it happen. It's one of our fellow Saving Throw members, Tracy King's project, and horror should have an impact, and that is exactly what she's trying to do, and so go check it out.
Cool. You should also probably plug the other shows you're on
Well,
while you're
yeah,
at
I mean, it's going to be a little bit until we're back because it's every other week schedule. So not this Wednesday, but the following Wednesday, Misadventures will be back, which is our all-female Harry Potter, Pathfinder, homebrew, RPG, other words that go with that sentence, which is really fun. And if you miss making Varya a horrible werewolf monster, you can now do it on that show instead. And then every other Sunday, I'm also at the Happy Jacks RPG crew playing Vampire the Masquerade on their Twitch stream. It's super fun. And I'm playing a vampire that's about as close to a werewolf as a vampire can be, because apparently that's what you all have made me into, and I don't hate it.
You're it's not, no one is forcing you into anything for this one.
Well, but I'm giving the people what they want.
Didn't you do a list of your favorite things recently on which werewolves occurred 4 times? No, playing a werewolf, all 3 times you played a werewolf were on there.
Yeah, and also
and werewolves
Skyrim.
and wolves and playing a werewolf in Skyrim. And I think werewolves also occurred by itself twice again.
Oh yeah, because that's the fun of making internet lists, is being weird.
Yeah. No, I get it. Like I've always thought that was the coolest thing about you, is that you have a thing you like and you like it, and that works. That makes sense.
Yeah, I like the fact that it's so versatile that every time that I play a werewolf-esque character, I get to make them completely different from each other, and that's a really fun challenge for me.
Yeah. And Chen, what other things are you doing that people can be involved with?
Podcasts. There's the Science Jerks, and there's Knowing Is Half the Podcast. There's some other ones that they're in development. They're happening. Doing things. Busy, working. Wedding things are happening. And
how soon are you married?
Next month.
Wow.
Congrats.
Yeah,
Awesome.
thank you.
Do you want to tell how long have you been together?
A year?
Nice.
A year, yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, come by. We're having a teeny tiny wedding, but then we're probably just gonna go to a bar afterwards, just for everybody.
Sounds like a great time.
Yeah, I don't see a downside.
Yeah. It was supposed to be we didn't want to have a wedding at all, and then we kind of had to have a wedding, so we were like, all right, let's make it as teeny tiny as possible. And already are getting people asking, so why am I not invited to your wedding?
Oh, fuck.
Because I hate you.
Didn't want in the first place.
I met Shan, what is it like? It's got to be over 5 years ago now or something. It's been a long time
It's
ago.
been a while, yeah.
Back when you lived near the museum, and we had a show there called Pizza Games and Zombies, where we would eat a pizza and review it, and play a game and review it, and also talk about zombies. The zombie part was always hard to spin in, and that was a great show, and we had a lot of great fun guests on that show, and it was really cool. But at the time, you were one of those guys who was a bachelor and curmudgeonly, so you could never really tell if you were just nope, I'm too busy being angry to date. Dating would take out of my anger time.
Well, it was mostly anger at not dating.
Okay.
So it sort of fed into itself, and
well, see, that wasn't really clear. I would have set you up with someone, but then you and your lady really your reviews of non-milk nogs are still my favorite thing that happened in the last month of 2017. So. And Lemon and I literally went out and bought the things you reviewed to taste them and see if we thought they were the same. I would definitely. I wish there was nogs all year round, so that show could just be a constant thing.
I'm all about it. Hey, if you've got a nog, feel free to send it our way. And
please make sure it's not expired.
Yes, any non-expired nogs.
I've been aging this nog for 7 years.
Next time you should review an
Is this supposed to
eggnog
be
and then
chunky?
the character Nog from Deep Space Nine.
Definitely going to do that.
Yeah, the actor gets a lot of work now. I, of course, am on top of this show. I am the showrunner of 18 other shows on Geek and Sundry, all of which are fantastic, and I'm not going to list them out here. I do run one show on Geek and Sundry, which is Dick and Johnson, which is the two rednecks who saved the world show. Last week we had a guest fall out last minute, so I just forced them to go to couples counseling. And we did a whole episode where they just had like emotional breakdowns in couples counseling. It was really worth it. I love the fact that that show can literally do anything I want it to do. They fought their like evil duplicate from another dimension. And we brought two other performers in, Becca and Iffy, and they dressed as them. Becca actually like drew a beard on and like dressed in drag essentially, and that was a great episode. So yeah, Dick and Johnson's on Monday nights or Monday like 5 o'clock. Highly recommend that. But of course, everything on Geek and Sundry I love because I make it. Some not so things we do plugs because we have a little extra time today. The Expanse. You've been telling us about how much you love The Expanse in the next season. I had not caught up with it, and then I didn't realize it was on Amazon Prime, and it is. By the way, if you have an Amazon Prime account, you can subscribe to this channel for free. That'll be fun for you.
Yeah, and give us the rerolls on Misadventures because we need it like a lot.
But also, Expanse is so good. Like it is in the running for best sci-fi ever, or best ship-based sci-fi ever, or however you want to do it. Not the kind of ship-based that this show is.
That's what what I was saying was that as of the end of season 1, I'm willing to call it the best science fiction property, period, since Battlestar Galactica.
Wow.
Probably by the end of season 2, because I've seen 4 episodes of season 2. It's on track to be like the best sci-fi property in longer than that.
Well, I don't know if it's the best part. It's kind of like the best worst part about the show. The show like has these 3 factions, right? It has like the Earth-based faction, the Mars-based faction, and the Belt, which is like, and there's a lot of other factions, but those are the 3 major ones. And when it first starts out, we kind of spend a little time with all 3 of them, more so with 2 of them than all 3 of them. But as a result, when the show jumps around, you're actually like, fuck, no, I don't want this story to end just because we're telling this story. Like if I had some sort of like, like Lobot style ability to watch multiple cameras and all the stories could just be occurring simultaneously, like picture-in-picture style, I'd watch it. Like every character, including one played by Thomas Jane. Thomas Jane in the role of a lifetime.
Wearing a shitty-ass hat that actually gets explained, like why he's wearing this dumbass fedora.
Well, and Thomas Jane is a belter, and like the members of the belt, like they're all sort of, I don't want to say deformed because that's not right. Like they've been out there for generations. So some are really tall and some are really frail, and they all have like their own culture, which is a little bit like that Firefly-esque sort of half like Chinese or half some languages, half English, but also their own words that have developed over generations out there, plus like a semantic language of conversation because they learned to speak in biosuits because they were out on like in space, like none of the, and so like all their words are like have like a sign language component, but they also have like a specific way of dressing and acting with tattoos, and they have like floppy hair, and so under that hat, Thomas Jane has this like side shaved floppy
it's like
thing going
mohawk on. Almost,
but it is a mohawk. It's a layover mohawk that and you're like, of all the people in the world who would never rock that in the world, Thomas Jane is awesome.
It's a little like is it Zurg? In
Zorg.
Zorg. Zorg is the other
Emmanuel
thing.
Zorg.
Yes, Zorg. Zorg. I was thinking a little too much like Buzz Lightyear Star Command. Sorry.
Or StarCraft.
One of the interesting things about it is that the people it's based on a series of books, and the authors are like they're in the writers' room because they were like writing these books, and then these guys who wrote movies. It's the writing duo who wrote Children of Men, the screenplay for that. And they hooked up with a showrunner, a guy who did like CSI for a gajillion years, but cut his teeth on Next Generation. They started doing the show, and then they brought these guys in, and so like they can just go to the people that made the original thing and so like, can we do this? And they're like, yeah, well, why this? And then they will just go back and forth, and so like the world building is just amazing.
It is as close to being like in space Game of Thrones style world building as you can get, and it's really, really worth it. I actually think like so sci-fi, has had a lot of phases. Like sci-fi the channel. So originally it was the Sci-Fi Channel, and it was like old sci-fi movies and Star Trek: The Next Generation.
That's when I loved it.
Yeah. I used to watch it all the time, and then they rebranded it as Sci-Fi, SYFY, as the medical like abbreviation for syphilis, and then they became like Blue Sky Sci-Fi, and I happen to love Warehouse 13, and Eureka's fine, but like it wasn't my sci-fi in many ways. This is after Battlestar Galactica, which was the success that no one liked. Like, everyone liked it except the people who worked at Sci-Fi, who hated that. And they tried to make another Battlestar Galactica with Capricorn, and it didn't work, and they were mad about that. And so they went away from Sci-Fi forever. I mean, do you remember Stargate? What's the one on the ship?
SG-1, Atlantis,
yeah,
one more.
It had one season. It got canceled like before it even started, but it had one season, and it was set on a ship, and that was like the most like hard-based ship sci-fi ever, and that was really good too. But they just didn't want to do it at all. And then all of a sudden last year they were like, "Fuck it," and they did The Expanse. They did another one that was like set in the 70s, like on a spaceship. They did
Universe.
Yeah, Stargate Universe. They did Killjoys.
They tried to do something with Ron Moore.
Matter. What's that?
They tried to do something with Ron Moore. It was like some sort of virus thing, and that one kind of sucked. And because that was part of their big push to go for the prestige again, and I was watching, I was like, oh god, they've forgotten how to do good television. So I didn't want to get on The Expanse. I was like, oh, they're gonna fuck it up again.
Yeah.
And they didn't.
Well, Lemon and I fell in love with Dark Matter, which is still one of my favorite shows ever, and then The Expanse and everything else. It's such a great. It's just wonderful. Like that's really my genre is like space-based stuff. I think, because like Star Trek and Star Wars were the things I fell in love with growing up.
Yeah.
So that's really good. Is there another good horror project out right now?
Actually, I started watching last night one I didn't expect to watch, the Santa Clarita Diet.
Okay, so is that about a zombie or a cannibal?
It is about a zombie.
Okay.
And that's where I was confused as well.
Yeah.
It is perversely hilarious. Like, I found myself I was working on something, and I had to keep, I'm like, I can't do this, because I was watching the show, because I got so invested. And it's fucked up and hilarious, but it has this weird sweet core to it.
So what is the plot of it? And is Drew Barrymore the zombie?
Yeah, so she basically they're realtors, and they're showing a house, and she starts vomiting copious amounts for no particular reason. And I haven't gotten to finish the first season, but then she's like, my heart's not beating anymore. And also, raw meat seems like a really good idea right now. And it's just them like trying to figure out what the fuck is going on without having any clue about how this works at all. And it's weird and bizarre, and the characters are charming, but also awful. Like, I was surprised with how sweet it was, though, at its most base, where you're like, this is messed up, and she's like, just eaten somebody, and he's like, well, we'll figure out how to work this out. And she's like, oh god, I'm so embarrassed, kind of thing, and it's just like, it's so charming, and it really has no right to be.
All right, that's a good recommendation.
I'm about maybe 6 episodes in out of 10, and I was so exhausted I finally had to stop watching it, because I could have just sat and watched the entire thing.
It's on Netflix.
Was it Netflix?
I logged in on Hulu to try and find it.
For some reason I thought it was Hulu, but I was really tired last night, and I wasn't planning on watching it. I went over to somebody's house, and I was going to work on something, and then I was like, nope, this is what I'm doing now, is watching this show. The
intelligent zombie genre is one that is almost always poorly done. So, like, it's good to know that they're doing it well.
It's fascinating because they're very aware of zombies as a concept, because it is the modern world. It's not like, oh, blah. And they're like, how does this work? We don't know what's real, what's not real, and
it's not that sci-fi thing where no one has ever watched a sci-fi movie.
And they're still trying to sell houses because they're realtors. So they're still trying to keep their business afloat. And she also has an insatiable craving for human flesh.
Timothy Oliphant's the best.
Also, yes, Timothy Oliphant all the time for forever.
You can come get it.
All
right, so the ad campaign for it, which is all over LA, is
super
amazing.
Weird but awesome.
Like it's like a thing of fries, but they're
it's fingers,
or like it's one of those juices, but it's like clearly like those are amazing. A friend of mine went to the like premiere for it, and they had a bunch of like fake versions of those that were actually not like goo. Yeah, it's a lot of good media out right now.
Yeah, I mean, it gets kind of gross in places, but, like, funny gross. Like Shaun of the Dead, where it's like, they don't hold back, but it's still entertaining as hell.
Awesome. Yeah, lots of great stuff out there. Always happy to give recommendations on these shows. We're going to wrap it up a little early today, but there's only the 2 characters to spread the wealth around, so that's good news. Next week, more of this. Then 2 weeks after that, the end of season 1, and then some time after that, season 2. New amazing stuff. Can't wait to announce what we're going to do for that. You're not going to believe it. It's going to be really fun. It will be a surprise. So yeah. Also, The Flash on CW. Watch more of that. Okay, so it's kind of good. That's the best that a CW show can get. It is. That's it. Wolfman, you ready to take us out?
Only if you flash me the CGI hair one more time.
Okay, yeah, sure, yeah.
All right.
Well, wait, Wolfman, you have any plugs? Sorry.
No.
All right, no plugs for Wolfman today.
No.
All right. You made that look good. That's not fair. We were like, ugh, and you were like, I'll just put my hat back on. All right. Bye, everybody. Bye.